Darksydephil has an addiction that he doesn't want you to know about. And today, in the beginning of this proper primer series, I'm going to peel back the layers, dig deep, and show you exactly why Darksydephil is addicted to gacha games and the easy payoff that they provide. As mobile games became more prevalent, Darksydephil found one that he actually starts to enjoy. He likes the style of gacha games, ones he can pay to win in order to be better at the game overall. Now, I know this series is going to focus more into his addiction to WWE Champions, the mobile game that he enjoys right now that he hides from his fans because he doesn't want anybody to know how embarrassed he is for spending over $60,000 on a mobile game that will one day just disappear. But every addiction has its roots, and today we are going to look back through the history of the pig roach to figure out exactly which games he's played in the past and to see how much exactly he has wailed out on them. The earliest evidence that I could find goes all the way back to 2013 during this Hate Live episode where Phil was talking about using mobile games.
I don't think Pokemon's anything to write home about. I think it's a game that's one of those addicting games. You know what I mean? There's certain games that the gameplay is not like profound, but they're very addicting. I just want to say that, because it's like almost like a genre of game, the addicting game genre, where you're just doing something repetitively, but it's to the point where you like it and you want to keep doing it. And I think that's really what Pokemon is. I'm not dying to play a Pokemon game. In fact, on my 3DS, I still have Luigi's Mansion, whatever it was called, the one that came out earlier this year. I never played it. I bought it. I haven't even gotten around to it. It's funny because I just went on vacation, and all it was, I've been playing mobile games. I've been playing Injustice, the Injustice mobile app. I've been playing a lot on my iPhone, and also Marvel War of Heroes, which is a collectible card game with Marvel Comics characters. Very addictive. Of course, they tempt you so much to sink money into them. I did sink some money into them, I'll be honest.
So that's two mobile games right off the bat, all the way back in 2013. But this doesn't stop here. No, it keeps on going, and it's game after game after game.
Alright, next question from Energetic Snail. They say, my question is about Hearthstone, the very popular and successful card game from Blizzard Entertainment that's bringing in $30+ million monthly. Jesus H. Christ. I'm a big supporter of the game, and I love to play matches against my friends whenever I can, so I'd like to ask if, 1, you would ever consider playing the game, and 2, if you did start playing, would you consider making it part of a weekly schedule with a dedicated day, and maybe even dedicate part of the day to playing with fans? First off, what a timely question, and let me tell you something, this is complete chance that this question was asked this month, because I just started playing Hearthstone last week. On a whim, a total whim. I said, what the flip? I've heard so much about this game. I'm going to download it, and I'm going to play it, and I'm just going to see what it's all about. And I hadn't read this question before. Like, this question was on my forums, but I hadn't read the questions yet. So this is complete, just, coincidence that this question was asked the same month that I started playing Hearthstone, okay? So the answer is, would I ever consider playing the game? Yes, I am playing the game right now, alright? Let me give you my brief opinion on Hearthstone. I like it. I think it's highly addictive. It's a lot of fun, but it's also one of the most random games out there. It 100% is pay to win. I hate to say it, but 100% pay to win. And it's highly based on luck rather than how you play the game. Basically, in Hearthstone, it's a card game where two people are fighting each other competitively, alright? 1,000,000% your win ratio is going to be dependent on the cards in your deck. The better cards you have, the higher chance you have to play good plays and do good hands and stuff. The problem is, earning cards in the game is incredibly slow. Even just playing the game against the computer, you can earn like base cards for whatever class you choose in the game, but you can't earn too many of the regular cards you use for your hands. So what you end up doing is going online and playing people, and it's incredibly slow to earn credits. It's very slow to earn credits online. Even if there's daily challenges and stuff, it still takes a long time to earn cards. So ideally, what it seems to me people did is they've either been grinding at this game for the past 2-3 years it's been out. I don't know how long it's actually been out at this point. They're grinding the shit out of it so they earned cards over time. Or they just dumped a ton of money into the game and immediately just opened card pack after card pack after card pack until they got a great deck based off the cards that they got. And that sucks, because as a newbie trying to jump into a game like this, it's nearly impossible. I have like zero chance to win a match because it doesn't really match you up with people of equal decks. So you go online and you're playing a guy. Oh, I played a card. Oh, this card automatically duplicates this card and buffs these cards. Oh, here comes a special ability. Oh, now it's your turn, but I have 14 cards in my fucking hand. Now that's an exaggeration. But what I'm trying to say is, unless you have these top level cards, you really don't stand a chance. I tried playing, I lost, and 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 I lost. I was like, what the fuck? And I said, on a whim, I'm going to spend a couple bucks, and I'm going to buy a few card packs. And immediately when I bought the card packs, I got great cards, I started building my deck, and now I started winning. Wow! Every once in a while, I'll play a quick mobile game on my phone or something like that. There's been a few ones that have been related to WWE over the past couple of years. Like, there was one card game that I quit earlier this year because there was another game that came out that was similar. It was like a combat game. It was called Immortals. It was similar to the app that they had out for Injustice a couple years ago. So I kind of get caught up in that stuff when I have free time, but I have not dedicated myself to actually play, say, a real mainstream portable game in a long time. So, checking all this stuff, and I realized, oh yeah, I play this mobile game called Dokkan Battle. It's a Dragon Ball Z video game, or mobile game on my phone. And they were updating last night to have a new event, but the update ended up going into extended maintenance, unplanned maintenance, and never really finished overnight. Apparently they even did more maintenance this morning, and I guess they had planned to have maintenance up to noon, my time, but I didn't know that because I was asleep. And when I woke up, the first thing I did was, all right, let me check this. When I checked all my other stuff, let me check out this game and see if it updated. And I got in, which I guess a lot of people were trying to get in. They couldn't get into the game, and I got in, I guess because the maintenance had just finished or whatever. So, there's a new event, and the way it works in the game is to get new cards or new fighters or whatever you want to call them, you have to go to what's called a banner, and then you spend Dragon Stones, which you can either earn in-game by just playing it, or obviously you could buy them, which is how these games make money, and use these stones to do a summon. So you do a multi-summon of characters and see what happens. So, I said, okay, let me give it a shot. So I did one multi-summon with the stones that I had earned by playing the game, and I got, like, nothing. I'm like, alright, well, I guess that's it, you know. But, you know, I still have a lot more stones. It's probably going to be one of those events where they tease you and they try to pretend like you're going to get the card right away, or the new character right away. But you end up summoning, spending all of your current in-game currency, and you get jack shit. And then, of course, you're tempted to spend real-life money, which I can't do anymore. I certainly don't have the luxury of spending real-life money on mobile games anymore. Never again. You know, in the past, years ago, maybe there were a few that I did. No more. That shit is a thing of the past for me. My money goes towards paying my goddamn bills.
It's the Injustice mobile app. It's the Final Fantasy mobile games. It's Fallout Shelter app. It continues on with Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle, one he enjoyed so much that he put up pictures of cards and gameplay onto his Instagram that are still there. Look at this shit. Phil used to flex on people to show him his cool cards he used to get out of packs. That's right, Phil loved to brag about what he was pulling. He's even admitted to spending money on these games. Hearthstone, WWE Mortals, WWE Supercard. Do you see a trend here yet? Phil is hopelessly addicted to these kind of mobile games. He loves that he can go ahead and throw money at it until he gets the cards that he wants, therefore that he can be better at these games. It lowers his chance of losing, it makes him feel good, and it makes his little piggy tail wiggle. If you look closer, you'll see that every one of his screen names has something to do with DSP. You know, they call me DSP, I am DSP, DSP Gaming, Darksydephil. Any of these screen names have been used before to represent Phil in these mobile game arenas. So today I have shown you for a fact that DSP is indeed addicted to these gacha games. He's played at least 10 of them that I know of, that I've shown you evidence of here today. So why does he hide his WWE Champions card game addiction, even though he's admitted to playing it in the past?
Same thing with video games. If you keep buying the same crap that's boring, unoriginal, repetitive garbage, and then the whole market is permeated with those games, that's your fault. You're the one who created that economic situation for everyone, you know? Alright. Dark Nightmare asks me, what can I give a brief review of each mobile game that I play, and in what order do I like each one? I currently jump between 4 mobile games when I play mobile games, okay? I play Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. I play Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. I play a Marvel video game called Marvel Future Fight. And I play a game called WWE Champions, which of all things, if you can believe it, is a WWE game that plays like Candy Crush. It's basically just moving gems around and breaking colored gems, alright? So, what are they all? Dokkan Battle is a combat-based game where you collect different Dragon Ball fighters from all the different shows. You know, Dragon Ball Z, and all the different eras of that. Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super, all different, every version of every Saiyan and every boss and enemy they've ever fought is in the game. And you play through stages, combat stages, where you pit them against enemies. Then they have special events where you can get higher level cards if you pass a certain event, or if you earn these things called Dragon Stones that are the in-game currency. And those allow you to do summons to get new characters. And you can buy them, or you can just earn them by just playing through doing certain events and stuff. The game's pretty good. It's got a lot of variety in it, meaning it's not just one kind of thing. Like, there's tournaments where you play against other people's teams. There's games where you play against just the CPU. Then there's special events where you fight bosses and stuff. So it's pretty nice. I do like the game. But like all mobile games, it's basically pay to win. The more you pay, the higher chance you have you're going to get the better cards or whatever. You'll have the better team, etc. Alright, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is an interesting game. It's kind of the same premise as Dokkan Battle in a lot of ways. The difference is, instead of like combat, it's RPG combat. So turn-based Final Fantasy-like combat. It's like playing the classic 2D Final Fantasy games. And this game, much like Dokkan Battle, has all the characters from all Final Fantasy 1 through 15, plus other spin-off games in the Final Fantasy series. All those characters are in the game, and every once in a while they add new characters and original characters that can be on your team, and you summon, you train, they level them up, they gain new abilities, much like in Final Fantasy. And again, just like Dokkan Battle, there's matches where you can fight other people's teams, you can fight against big bosses and challenges, you can do special the difference here is that this game actually has a story. The Final Fantasy Brave Exvius actually has an RPG story in it, plus it has all the other things that you would expect in a mobile game in it as well. Alright? Again, it's pay to win. The more money you sink into it, the more characters you can summon, the higher chance you'll get the better characters, etc., etc. Marvel Future Fight actually is basically a game that plays like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I don't know how many of you played Marvel Ultimate Alliance back in the day. Really good console game. You know, from like early to mid kind of Xbox 360, PS3 generation. You assemble a team of Marvel heroes, 3 of them, that go out and fight in different scenarios. Maybe you're just killing generic enemies on the street like in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Maybe there's a boss you have to fight. Maybe there's a, epic level event. Again, similar to the other games, they almost follow the same formula, only the combat there isn't turn-based or anything. It's actually active combat where you can control where your character goes and activate abilities on the fly, just like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So it really is kind of the evolution of that game. That's where it went. It went to a mobile version. But again, pay to win. Yes, you can earn in-game currency, whatever, but if you pay money to get the new characters or whatever, you're going to excel versus anyone else. And then, by far, the worst game that I play is WWE Champions. This game is basically just a time waster for me, because I watch WWE, so a lot of the times when I'm watching wrestling, I'll open up the game and play it. It sucks. The game is actually one of the most unfair games I've ever played. Here's why. So when you play a game like Candy Crush or all those, you have a screen full of tokens and you have to move them around to match up. It breaks a row or whatever, and then the tokens fall. This game actually actively cheats all the time. And what I mean by that, you'll be fighting an opponent. Okay, well, your character, for example, will use different colored gems to earn combos. So maybe your character uses green and black gems. Well, guess what? You'll play a match, no green and black gems whatsoever on the fucking screen at all. Oh, but the computer opponent you're facing uses red and yellow, and the whole fucking screen is red and yellow. So they get all these combos and shit, and you get nothing because the game fucked you. In addition to that, alright, it actively cheats with what gems are above that you can't see that fall when you break stuff, because a lot of the time, you'll break a row, and just, gems will fall, whatever. Then the computer will break a row. Oh, look, conveniently, all these gems up top are the colors they need to get a multi-combo. And I'm not kidding. You'll be like full health bar against an enemy that has no health. All of a sudden, the enemy will break one row, and then all of a sudden, combo, and they keep falling into place perfectly to get like a 10-hit combo, and you instantly die. And this happens all the time. It's not like, oh, it happens on a rare occasion. This happens all the fucking time when you play the game. The game is horrendously broken. And it's hilarious because people are playing this game and like it. And I'm like, dude, this game is terrible. This game is actually one of the worst mobile games I've ever played because it actively cheats and generates the gems only for your opponents and not for you to get these combos to just fall into place. So if you wanted me to rank the games, I would probably say that I like Dokkan Battle and Final Fantasy Brave XVS equally, and really I like one better at different times. Like if there's a bunch of events going on in one game, I'll play the hell out of it, or if there's a bunch of events going on in the other game, I'll play the hell out of that. So I kind of alternate between. Marvel Future Fight, I like the game, but it doesn't have, like, they don't actively add a ton of new stuff all the time. So a lot of the times when I play the game, it just ends up being grinding the same shit every single day. And it kind of gets a little worn out and boring because of that. But I do like the game in particularly because it's like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. WWE Champions is just a time waster. If there's nothing going on in the other games, or a lot of the times what happens is these games for some reason have maintenance, and they end up being at the same time or whatever, then I'll go play WWE Champions, but that's like the afterthought. I barely, that's the game I like the least out of anything that I play mobile. Alright.
As this series goes on, we will be looking closely into why Phil decided to hide his addiction to WWE Champions and how it all came to be revealed, and why people like myself say that this not DSP is actually DSP with a 99% certainty. In the next episode, we're going to break down these games, see exactly how these mechanics work, and also take a look at how much money one has to spend in order to become a whale in these games. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Come back next week as we further peel back these onion layers of this WWE Champion saga. Hopefully you drop a like and leave a comment about which mobile games you have an addiction to. Me personally, I like to play Bejeweled, especially on the plane in Zen mode, so I don't have to worry about losing while I, take a rest from reading my sweet books. Stay safe as always, and have a good one, guys. I will see you next time with another episode of the Proper Primer series.